Welcome to the NFL Show on the Gruely Truth Sports Network. The NFL Show is brought to you by BetNow.eu. Make sure you use the promo code TRUTH100 at BetNow.eu to get a cashback bonus on your first deposit. I am your host for the NFL Show, Mike Goodpas. Right now, I'd like to welcome my co-host for the FF Face-Off, Anthony Servino. How you doing, Anthony?
What's going on, Mike?
Not much. Just looking for a way to take a shot at the Dallas Cowboys every time I can.
It's going to be hard to do.
Not
it's going to be hard to do right now.
It's not really. I mean, they did beat the Giants unimpressively, but outside of that, you don't have much.
They're going to. Okay.
I know they're going to beat the Patriots. They're going to beat.
Well, they're going to. Number one, they're going to take care of business on Sunday night against Kirk Cousins, who is 1-6 in his career against Dallas. He chokes in the big spot. No signature wins, but that's another story for our preview show. No signature wins, and you know that.
Well, neither does Dak Prescott. All right, and right now I'd like to welcome in the man who writes the quarterback rankings at thegruelingtruth.com. Help me welcome to the show, Samuel Teets. How you doing, Sam?
I'm doing good, Mike. Thanks for having me.
All right, so let's just go ahead, and we're going to look at some NFL news before we go into the quarterbacks. And we're going to start off with the 49ers, who have a huge game coming up against Seattle. It looks like Staley and Juszczyk could return versus the Seahawks. That would be huge, Anthony.
Yeah, this is going to be a big return because this is a big game for both teams, really. And I think it's a bigger game for the Seattle Seahawks because they're behind the 49ers by 2 games right now.
Yeah, and I think when we look at all the teams in the NFL right now, as of now, which doesn't mean anything for the end of the season, the 49ers look like the best team, and they've got a lot of guys hurt that are going to be coming back getting healthy, Sam.
Yeah, right now with the Patriots losing, it looks like the 49ers are the top. But, of course, if Seattle goes in and wins that game, shakes everything up, and puts even greater emphasis on the Week 17 matchup between Seattle and San Francisco.
Yeah, which would then be in Seattle. So.
Yeah, it'd be a chance essentially for Seattle to take over the division at that point.
All right, so Sam, do you think that Cowboy fans should take a deep breath, sigh of relief here because Adam Thielen may not play against the Dallas Cowboys?
I think they should be able to relax a little bit. But at the same time, Kirk Cousins had a good couple of games going here. Stephen Diggs didn't have his best performance last week. But at the same time, it's still Dallas, and Dallas finds ways to lose these kind of games sometimes.
I love you, Sam.
They should not be happy they beat New York.
I love you, Sam.
They beat New York the way they were supposed to.
Hey, at least
that's all people have right now. That's all
people
have is that Jets loss. I'm never going to hear the end of it. Dallas isn't going to stop hearing the end of it. And maybe that's a good thing because they're going to take that with them on every game.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because Dak has intangibles.
Wait a second. I don't want to hear that because Dak's intangibles are only if they're playing losing teams. How do they do against winning teams?
Oh, okay. Your Vikings, you're going to say they have a winning record. Are you going to count that when Dallas does the job? Are you going to count that?
Count it as what?
Because they're going to do the job.
They're going to do the job.
They're going to do what they have to do on Sunday night, and then they're going to take care of business with the one-dimensional Detroit Lions, and they're going to go into New England with, a 4 or 5 game win streak, and everybody's going to forget about that 3-game lose streak, and they're going to take care of business against New England Patriots that have holes everywhere.
Okay. Sam, any response to that?
Yes to Detroit, no to New England. You should beat Detroit. They should be able to get to Detroit, but going against New England Patriots, New England is just losing this game to Baltimore. I think they're going to lock down and try to make sure there are no more screw-ups for the rest of the regular season.
Yeah, because there's a difference here. It is called coaching for the Patriots, which the Cowboys don't have. Agreed, Anthony?
Yeah, I'll agree there.
Okay, so as long as you agree there, You're screwed anyways by the time this season's over. All right, let's look at the NFL quarterback ratings, which will be out on thegrizzlytruth.com tomorrow, where Anthony will go a little bit more, or not Anthony, but Sam will go in depth on this. Number 1, Russell Wilson. Number 2, Deshaun Watson. Anthony, is Sam nuts here?
No, I don't think he's nuts at all. But the way Russell Wilson, you've said it many times, I've said it, we've all said it, this is Russell Wilson's team. He is realistically carrying this team. And they only have 2 losses. As good as Deshaun Watson has played, I think he has a little bit more talent to put around him, more so than Russell Wilson.
I don't see Chris Carson in his backfield, though.
No, but Carlos Hyde is having a pretty good year.
Okay. Sam, Deshaun
I don't see DeAndre Hopkins in Russell Wilson's corner. And Tyler Lockett's good, but Hopkins is an elite receiver in this league.
All right, Sam, Deshaun Watson at number 2. A lot of people would raise their eyebrows at that. We know Bobby Sheridan from the Sheridan Report will trash you on Twitter for it, but because I was having this argument when you had Deshaun Watson at number 4, but my case is this. Right now, my 2 NFL MVP main contenders are Russell Wilson and Deshaun Watson just because they have won with less than what everybody else does have.
Yeah, I think so. And you look at Deshaun Watson, that offensive line, they didn't have Laramie Tunsil this past game against Jacksonville. And so he's had to deal with injuries on that offensive line. He's had injuries to Will Fuller in the receiving core, and he's the team's second-leading receiver usually. So he's had to put up with some issues this year in Houston, and he's always had to deal with that. And now looking at it through 9 games, 18 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 107.1 passer rating. That's pretty good. It's got Houston sitting at 6-3. I like what the Texans are doing right now. I like what Watson's doing.
All right, next up we got Tom Brady at 3, Drew Brees at 4, Aaron Rodgers at number 5, Sam.
Yeah, I dropped Aaron Rodgers back a little bit this week because they came out and just put up a terrible performance against the Los Angeles Chargers somehow. Most of Aaron Rodgers' stats came from that second half. They did have a second-half push. But for some reason, the Los Angeles Chargers were able to get under the Green Bay Packers' skin and basically own them for most of the game.
Yeah, when you look at that, do you agree with Brady 3, Brees 4, Rodgers 5, Anthony?
Brady's 3, Brees 4, Rodgers 5. I guess because Brady only has 1 loss on the year, but his numbers haven't been what they were earlier in the season. But, yeah, you can put him at 3 just because he is Tom Brady, and they only have 1 loss on the season. Drew Brees immediately comes back from the injury and has an outstanding performance. Then he goes into the bye week. All I know is with Drew Brees that in 2 games this year, he's thrown for 370 yards and a couple of touchdowns. So, yeah, I could put Drew Brees at 4. And, yeah, Aaron Rodgers at 5. He deserves to be there for laying an egg against the Chargers.
All right, how about this one? I'm going to let Anthony go here.
And he laid an egg with Devontae Adams back.
All right, here you go. Number 6, Kirk Cousins.
Yeah. How do you justify it?
How do I justify? Am I getting a chance to defend myself here?
Yeah.
All right. So Kirk Cousins, it was a 23-26 loss to the Kansas City Chiefs by the backup quarterback.
To Matt Moore.
Matt Moore. But Kirk Cousins put up 3 touchdown passes in that game. And since I can hear him on the other sideline, he's already getting ready for it. But since week 5, Kirk Cousins 13 touchdown passes, 1 interception, and he's got 127.1 passer rating in the last 5 games. So he's had a good season. It just wasn't the best game. They end up losing to the backup quarterbacks for the Kansas City Chiefs. But Kirk Cousins himself can't be held responsible for that team not being able to contain Matt Moore.
I mean, he only completed 50% of his passes, his second lowest completion percentage of the year. And since week 2, another loss on the road to the Packers, 43.8% completion percentage.
Yeah.
Correct.
But for the season, he's thrown, 16 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, and his team's 6-3.
Okay. He's
No,
lost 2 games. 2 games on the road.
Yeah. He's also
2
won
games
a couple games on the road. He won at Detroit. He won at the Giants. Doesn't that count? Those are road
Yeah,
wins.
it certainly counts.
It only
But
certainly
I mean,
counts.
to have him at number 6, I don't get it.
Who would you have above him then? I mean, we just
I
agreed on
would
the top
certainly
5.
have Dak Prescott
Oh,
ahead of
geez.
Kirk Cousins.
That's
Yeah,
absolutely preposterous. Dak Prescott on Samuel's list is number 11. He dropped from 9 to 11.
I don't know. Dak Prescott right now, I can see not being in the top 5, but being outside the top 10. I don't know. Dallas has a top 5 offense, top 5, I believe, passing offense in the league right now. They're in the top 5 in points for.
Well,
Dak Prescott in a bad game, because he played a bad game against the Giants. He wasn't completing some of those passes to Gallup and Cooper. Still 22 of 35, 62.9%, 257.
How about this, though?
And 3
Would
touchdowns.
you want to compare them? The Vikings have a better record, and Dak Prescott is 15
They have
touchdowns.
a better record.
Yeah.
What's Dallas's record?
5-3.
5-3.
Okay. Because
Minnesota 6-3.
Minnesota didn't have their bye week yet.
Hold on. Well, you got to win another game to have the same record. Dak Prescott has thrown 3 times as many interceptions this year and less touchdowns. So where do you get that Dak is better right now?
Has Dak Prescott in these losses, he hasn't completed less than 59% of his passes. If Kirk Cousins was completing more passes in those 2 losses on the road, especially in Kansas City, maybe they win that game.
All right, so if we look at this, Kirk Cousins, or what's his name? Dak Prescott, 22 for 33, no touchdowns, 1 interception, in a loss to the Saints where they scored 10 points. 3 interceptions when they lost at home to the Green Bay Packers. Let's see. Yeah, so when you look at their losses, I don't think he played outstanding against the Saints, and I don't know what completion percentage has got to do with anything. Because I'd rather be 19 for 38 with 4 touchdowns and no picks than it would be.
Dak had a similar stat line in last year's win against New Orleans.
But see, the problem is this.
Russell Wilson can throw for 80 yards and a rushing touchdown and win the game, and that's okay. If Dak does it, Dak did it last year against New Orleans, bad quarterback.
How about
Russell Wilson does it, MVP.
You know what I've seen Russell Wilson do? I've seen him win big games. He has intangibles. Dak Prescott doesn't.
Dak Prescott has the second most wins behind Tom Brady since he's been in the league.
Yeah.
I think he has the most primetime wins.
Really?
Since
We're
he's
talking
been
about
in the
regular
league.
season wins, though, right?
Yeah, that's all we talk about with Dak Prescott is the regular season.
What about Kirk Cousins?
What about him?
Has
He
he
didn't
ever
play it.
sit-
Wait a second. You're the
He's
one to
played
sit
one
here.
postseason game.
You, you sit here. Yeah, but Dak Prescott wouldn't even be in the league right now if he'd have been drafted in Washington.
Well, we don't know that.
Yeah, we do. Ask RG3.
He's still in the league. He's just backing up somebody in Baltimore.
Yeah, he's been backing
Lamar
up people
Jackson.
forever. I can tell you this with Kirk Cousins, I may take Derek Carr ahead of him or Matt Stafford. But
Those
that's
3
it.
are very close for me.
You like
Those three
Cousins
times
that much? You really like Cousins that much?
I think Cousins is a really good quarterback. I mean, he only completed 50% of his passes, but if I would have told you last week.
He's 6-14 in prime time.
So, once again, he played in Washington, Anthony. I know you don't really understand this, but Washington is owned by somebody that's actually more inept than your owner. So I don't think that Washington really gave him much opportunity to win primetime games. All I'm telling you is wait and see. Because on primetime Sunday night, you already know what's going to happen. Without Adam Thielen, they will be injured.
Right.
They will be short-handed.
That much more confident.
Huh?
Because Kirk Cousins without Adam Thielen is a pedestrian quarterback.
Oh, okay. What is Dak Prescott without Amari Cooper?
Pedestrian. Very pedestrian.
Okay. So why do you fight on who should be above who? Because they're both pedestrian without studs around them. I will make this case.
Every other quarterback.
No, I don't think Derek Carr does not have studs around him. He's got a really good running back.
Well, yeah.
Matthew Stafford does not have studs around him.
I would call Darren Waller a stud.
Wow, he's got a stud tight end, but he doesn't have Ron Gronkowski there. Derek Carr and Matthew Stafford, I would actually rate him above Kirk Cousins. I think Derek Carr and Matthew Stafford, the reason they don't. So you agree? Would you rank Matt Stafford ahead of Dak Prescott?
Would I?
Yeah.
What's Detroit's record? Because I would actually consider it because it has always been on Matt Stafford in Detroit because I can't remember a time that they've ever given him a running game.
How about this? It doesn't matter what his record is, I don't think, and it doesn't matter what Derek Carr's is. I just think they're better quarterbacks. I mean, I would have Carr and Stafford at 6 and 7. And I'm not so sure I would have him below Aaron Rodgers. How about that? Not for their career. I just mean for right now. Because when I look at it, Matt Stafford in a better situation would have playoff wins, maybe more. So would Derek Carr. Agree?
I'm getting more sold on Derek Carr as the season goes.
Derek Carr is a really good quarterback. And right now, they're going to play the Chargers, and whoever wins that game all of a sudden has a real shot at making the playoffs, Sam.
Yeah, particularly because the AFC is super weak compared to the NFC at this point. But if you look at, like, Derek Carr, he's always taking the blame when he necessarily hasn't been the problem. Like, the last 2 years, or maybe just last year, he's been blamed. He's been pushed as, like, the center. Like, it's a problem almost. It's not Derek Carr's fault. It's just that he doesn't have the pieces around him. He doesn't have people in the coaching staff to help him out, really. But I think he's a really good quarterback. I think he's definitely a top 10 quarterback. I think he'll be a Pro Bowler this year.
All right, number 9, also ahead of Dak Prescott, Carson Wentz.
Yeah, I kind of did that just to – part of me wanted to see what Anthony's reaction was as I was typing this up. I put that number up there. But Wentz is doing all right. 15 touchdowns, 4 interceptions this year. Not a great completion percentage, but he takes care of the ball for Philadelphia. And honestly, the Eagles don't have that many great receiving threats as it is. Even Alshon Jeffrey is not really his usual self this year. Deshaun Jackson just got put on IR, and he hasn't played in forever. So Wentz is the definition of doing just enough right now with nothing almost on offense.
All right. You got any problem with Carson Wentz ahead of Dak Prescott, Anthony?
I mean, a little bit. I know he doesn't have the healthiest weapons around him, but Carson Wentz isn't the guy winning the games for Philadelphia. It's those running backs, more so Jordan Howard.
Okay, but wait a second. Because when I watched the Giants game and when I watched most Cowboy games, to me, Dak Prescott's not the guy that wins games. You say he has intangibles, but he doesn't. His intangible is he gets to turn around and hand the ball off to Zeke Elliott 25 to 30 times a game.
So, I mean, Tom Brady has always had a good running game. You're going to discount Tom Brady's greatness?
No, he hasn't. He has not. Name me all the great Patriot running backs.
Not great running backs, but a great rushing attack by committee.
But we're not talking by committee, which means this still has a lot to do with Tom Brady. Dak Prescott hands the ball off to Ezekiel Elliott. But Dak Prescott, for some reason,
Troy Aikman handed the ball out to Emmett. Troy Aikman's a Hall of Fame
Troy Aikman handed off to Emmitt Smith. Yeah, Troy Aikman's a Hall of Fame quarterback because he won 3 Super Bowls. Dak Prescott won a wild card game once.
Okay.
I feel like I'm winning this argument today. What do you think, Sam?
Yeah, I'm with you right now.
All right, I like Sam. We're going to keep him. All right, Dak Prescott at number 11. Lamar Jackson at number 12. So, Anthony, I know you're high on Lamar Jackson, but he is legal in most states now. Do you like Lamar Jackson better than Dak Prescott?
He is definitely put ahead of Dak Prescott. I think they both. There's at least top 10. Lamar Jackson, he may not be everybody's favorite.
We losing you, Anthony?
Can you hear me?
Now I can.
They run. Are you there?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
They built the system. Greg Roman built the system around Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson's having success. I mean, look what he did against the Patriots.
Yeah, 163 yards passing and 60 yards rushing. Pretty awesome.
He didn't put up big time numbers. That was more. But if it wasn't for Lamar, because you had a game plan.
You're breaking up real bad, Anthony.
Plan to take Jackson and still. Can you hear me?
Now I can hear you. From the time you said, "Can you hear me?"
Okay. Yeah, you have his skill set out. 9 times out of 10, he's the best athlete.
You there, Anthony?
Yeah, I'm there. Are you?
Yeah.
I'm here.
I'm obviously here because I said, "Are you there, Anthony?" How about this? I think number 13, Jimmy Garoppolo, should be more like number 8 or 9. Call me nuts.
No.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm probably going to call you nuts on that one. That's too high for Jimmy Garoppolo, what he's done this year. He's sitting back there with one of the best defenses, one of the best running games. He comes out and he hangs 4 touchdowns on the Arizona Cardinals. He should do that. But he's got 13 touchdowns, 7 interceptions this year.
And he did. Lamar Jackson did not do that to the Arizona Cardinals.
It's true, but it's very different styles of play for those two guys.
I know. One plays quarterback.
And to defend Mike's point, when Lamar Jackson played Arizona, Patrick Peterson wasn't in. Jimmy Garoppolo torched a Patrick Peterson secondary. And I do think Jimmy Garoppolo should be bumped up a little. The questions I had for him is, if you take out the running game or they're not running as effectively, can Jimmy Garoppolo not turn the ball over and go win the game? And he proved that.
Yeah, but he proved it against Arizona, though. Like, you shouldn't have been in a close game against Arizona to begin with.
Arizona won 8 games in a row against the 49ers going into that game. They won 8 straight. And I know that the 49ers are the superior team, but you have to think that's not a easy game to go out and play because of momentum and because of the pass that does.
Your phone sucks, Anthony.
On the road, right? Huh?
Your phone sucks. You there?
I'm trying to get to a better spot.
Oh, okay. Number 14, Jared Goff. Number 15, Kyler Murray. How can Jared Goff be ahead of Kyler Murray, Sam?
You know, I had Goff ahead of Kyler Murray last week, too. I kind of kept him there. It's the bye week. I didn't shift them too much. But with Murray had a good game against the 49ers. I'm still waiting for a signature win, per se. I'm still waiting for them to go out and beat a good team. Their wins have come against
Hey, they beat the Bengals.
Yeah, I was going to say their wins are against the Bengals, the Falcons, and the Giants. So they got that win against Cincinnati. We're looking forward to Ryan Finley coming out and starting, by the way, next week.
Oh, yeah.
I want to see how that goes.
That'll go great.
Yeah. That'll be awesome TV.
Yeah, that'll be outstanding. Next up, are you there, Anthony?
Can you hear me?
I can when you say, can you hear me? Maybe all you should say is, can you hear me? Because I can always hear you when you say that. Number 16, Phillip Rivers. 17, Kyle Allen. 18, Ryan Tannehill. I think all three of these guys have actually done solid jobs so far this year, Anthony.
Yeah, I don't mind the order that those guys are in. And Tannehill, he should be climbing up the rankings if he keeps playing the way he is. He's 2-1 in 3 starts. In 2 out of 3, he thrown for over 300 yards and a couple of touchdowns. Ryan Tannehill is teasing around for the Titans and giving their offense some life. The first life I've seen out of this team in years.
All right. Sam, you want to talk about these three at all? I would think Rivers is ahead of the two just because he's got seniority.
Yeah, a little bit. Rivers, we've seen him play at a Pro Bowl level in the past. Also coming out and beating Green Bay last week, that's kind of, and it wasn't his job alone to beat Green Bay, but at the same time, Green Bay is a good win. They also beat Chicago the week before that because Mitchell Trubisky's terrible and can't throw a football. But it's just 2 wins in a row. One was against a good team, so I give him props for that.
All right, next up, you got Josh Allen at 19. My take on Josh Allen is this, though. He's not really turning the ball over anymore. Maybe he should be slightly higher.
Yeah, I mean, there's always something for me with Josh Allen at this point. He's not turning the ball over again, and you're right, that's a good thing for him. But at the same time, he's not doing a lot. Like, he played the Philadelphia Eagles secondary, which is awful.
Terrible. Yeah.
And then they had the Redskins this week. And it's 2 bad teams in a row that they played, and he hasn't doubted them. He hasn't gone out and thrown for 200 yards in either of those games. So he's not throwing for a lot. He's just not making a lot of numbers. Like, even compared to Lamar Jackson, at least Lamar Jackson's running for more yards than Josh Allen is, but they're throwing for about the same amount. So it's not really making an impression on me.
Yeah. And number 20, Matt Moore, who played really well once again. And I'll bring it to this. Does this make you think any less of Patrick Mahomes to watch a guy that hadn't played in 2 years come in and do almost the same thing Patrick Mahomes was doing?
I'm probably not going to think anything less of Patrick Mahomes, so I will say I have liked Matt Moore as a backup quarterback for a long time, even going back to his Miami days. But at the same time, you put Tyreek Hill and a bunch of speedsters out there and just throw the ball deep, you're bound to hit a couple of home runs. And a guy like Matt Moore is the perfect quarterback for a 1 or 2 game stretch where you can just throw him in and hopefully get a win or 2 in there.
All right, Gardner Minshew, Nick Foles, who should start? Anthony.
I think you got to give it back to Foles. And I was really high on Gardner Minshew early. And then the middle of the first half of the season, we started to see him lose a couple games, turn the ball over a little bit more. He redeemed himself against the Jets, and then he totally laid an egg in London to a Texans defense that I thought was done for without J.J. Watt and all of the other losses. So, yeah, I think that's on Gardner Minshew and Foles back because they are still in the mix for that division.
All right, I don't think they're really in the mix for that division unless Foles plays out of his mind. I think Foles is the right choice. What do you think, Sam?
Yeah, I think you have to go back to Foles. And it's unfortunate for Minshew that his last game happens to be possibly his worst. He's looking no touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 2 fumbles he gave up. It's just bad tape to put up at the very end here. I do think moving back to Foles is now the right decision because you have to choose a new angle here, a new approach for attack. I hope you're able to get back into this division race.
Can they get back in the division race, Sam?
No, they're done. They're done. In my opinion, they're done. I don't see them. If Jacoby Brissett comes back and is fully healthy, and you got Deshaun Watson in Houston, there's just too much of a difference between those teams to be able to climb back up and fight those two.
Oh, and I wanted to bring up Shane Swagger, who was busting my balls saying Gardner Minshew was a better quarterback than Nick Foles. You're wrong. Anthony, can they still make the playoffs?
Well, that's my buddy. I think that's my buddy Shane.
Is it?
From the yeah.
Yeah.
Good guy.
He's an idiot. Go ahead.
No, what's your question?
you didn't pay attention to my question. You were too busy. This man harassed me on Twitter, and now you're his buddy. What the hell? Is he a Cowboys fan too?
I don't.
If he
so.
wants to come on the show and debate,
I think he has
Gardner
more
Minshew
sense
and
than that.
Foles. Well, yeah, that's a good point. I'm not going to argue with you on that. Number 22, Jameis Winston, I still think is way too low. Anthony?
See, you've been on Jameis Winston bandwagon. I don't know if I'm just tainted by all of the bad performances in the past. So when he does have a 3, 4, 5 turnover game, it just brings back all the bad memories. But when Jameis Winston this season doesn't turn the ball over, we see him do really good things with the football. So I think you can squeeze him into the top 20 ahead of the Kyle Allens of the world and the Phillip Rivers of the world. But that's about it.
Sam, am I nuts here? But I think Jameis Winston has improved immeasurably this year.
I think if you watch Jameis Winston every third week or so, you can definitely see an improved quarterback. You can do.
I don't think so. I think that's crap. I think you're full of shit, and there's no other way to put it. Yes, I do. There we go. I think you're crazy.
Explain it.
It took like 7 or 8 weeks for me to get there with you. I mean, Jameis, look at his stats. How can you say once every 3 weeks?
He's never had a running game.
Yeah, they've got no running game at all. Let's check out his stats here because I'm thinking
he's never had a running.
He's had
game.
3.
He's like Matthew Stafford.
Games.
He's never had a running game.
All right, game 1.
He's leading interceptions.
Game 1, huh? He's got 12 interceptions.
He's got 12 interceptions.
He's also got 16 touchdowns, and he plays on a horrible team. But what I'm saying is this. If you look at those touchdowns, 8 of them, which is over half, are all in 2 games. And those 2 games were against 2 teams that could get after the quarterback a little bit. But you look at game 1 was rough. Game 2, the 20-14 win at Carolina, he played well. 1 touchdown, no picks. He lost 32-31 to the Giants, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. The next week, they win 55-40 on the road against the Rams, which I think Anthony would classify as a signature win. 4 touchdowns, 1 pick. The next week, they lose at a very good New Orleans team, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Now, he played like crap against Carolina, 1 touchdown, 5 picks. Tennessee, they get beat, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Last week, 2 touchdowns, no picks. So to me, he's played 3 poor games this year. That's not once every 3 weeks he plays good. I mean, that's more often than not he plays good enough for you to win.
I can't trust him, man. I can't trust the quarterback who I know every now and then is going to come out and just implode on the field for 1 game. Like, I just can't do that.
Well, you know what? There's quarterbacks that are ranked in everybody's top 10 all time that did that. Brett Favre used to do that.
Yeah, but I don't know. Jameis Winston for me is just there's something about him. I just don't trust him. I just don't trust him as a quarterback right now. And maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just my bias. Like, I'll see the 1 bad game and then I'll taint my vision on the next week. But
I think that's what
right
it
now,
is. So we've all settled that I was right, correct? We good with that, Anthony?
So,
go ahead.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Buccaneers decide to give Jameis Winston a new and they don't go out and try to get a Le'Veon Bell, who is available.
Why would you want to go out and get Le'Veon Bell right now?
Because I want to see Jameis. I think we'll get the best Jameis Winston.
But we're not getting the best Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell has not played. Le'Veon Bell has not played successfully.
Is he an upgrade over what they have now?
No, not that. From what I see, the numbers he puts up in New York when he plays is the same. Melvin Gordon would be a huge upgrade.
Melvin Gordon. I'm just saying, bring in a running back to help Jameis Winston. And
I don't think it's a running back.
A lot
I think they need to bring in an offensive line to help Jameis Winston.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Because the other thing is this. If you look at the 2 games where he threw all the picks, they were the 2 games where he was harassed the most, which was that 49ers defense and then the Carolina defense. They were all over him in both games. I don't think having a stud running back is the answer to having a good rushing game. I think you just need to have a good offensive line because running backs are a dime a dozen. There's not – I'll give you this. There's not many Christian McCaffreys. There's not many Ezekiel
Or
Elliott's.
Ezekiel Elliott.
Well, it doesn't matter because as long as Christian McCaffrey is mentioned first, I'm good with it because he is far superior to Zeke Elliott. And I guarantee you this, if you put Christian McCaffrey behind the Dallas Cowboy line, he'd probably run for 200 and catch for 150 every game. Your silence says you agree with me. All right, number 23.
I told you that I would put CMC. They're right there with each other.
They're not. Christian McCaffrey's better. He catches the ball better out of the backfield, and he's a better blocker. That makes him a better running back. And remember this. Christian McCaffrey's doing it with a poor offensive line.
You think it's better than Ezekiel Elliott?
Huh? What'd you say? Your phone's cutting up again. You there, Anthony?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
I don't know if I would give him the edge in being a pass protecting back. I think Zeke's a better blocker.
Actually, I think they both suck at blocking, so I just threw that out for the hell of it. But he catches the ball better, and he's a better running back. He's doing it with Kyle Allen as his quarterback, too. Not in Tangidak, or whatever the hell you call him. Did you hear this stupid-ass nickname he gave Dak Prescott, Sam?
No, what do you call him?
Intangidak.
Isn't that retarded? I mean, the guy's never even won a playoff. Well, he won that playoff game that one time. Never mind. I'm just hoping he can get his signature win against Minnesota on Sunday night.
Yeah, he's collecting signature wins in his career right now.
Really? He doesn't have any signature wins right now.
When you
all right, wait a second.
Most games
hold on.
You've been in the league since
that win in Minnesota really wrapped up his Hall of Fame career.
Do you realize that Andy Dalton in the first 5 years of his career was the second winningest quarterback in NFL history?
Right.
Okay. It means nothing.
Right.
Because
and
how about
I love
this?
Andy Dalton.
Let me show you an example. Let me show you an example. Anthony, Troy Aikman, signature wins. What were they?
Super Bowls, playoff games, NFC Championship games.
All right. Now, Sam, give me John Elway, signature wins.
Super Bowls, playoff games, championships.
Okay. Give me Dak. Shut up! I don't want to hear it. You called these signature wins. Okay, that's what you called them, Anthony. Signature wins. Now tell me, compared
how
to
long
that.
did John Elway play? 19 years, and he got
well,
a Super Bowl in
how
his
about
last
this?
3 years.
How about
He's
this?
got a Super Bowl in his last 3 years.
Wait a second, though. In his first 10 years, though, I could give you signature playoff wins. You ever hear of the drive in Cleveland in his third year?
Yeah, and there's also signature playoff losses, just like
what?
that.
Like what?
Super Bowls.
Give me a playoff loss that was his fault. Give me a Super Bowl loss that was his fault. They got beat by all-time great teams who were just better than him. Dak Prescott lost to freaking Jared Goff and Sean McVay. The worst
That's a signature loss, though, Mike.
Yeah. So a signature loss for John Elway was having a home field advantage in the 1984 playoffs against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they lost. But in that signature loss, a lot of that loss was because he had a freaking torn hamstring. And they basically strapped it up, and he limped around the field and damn near won the game. Pittsburgh beat him 24-17, and that was Chuck Noll's last team that went to the AFC Championship game. And that Steeler team that year was actually pretty damn good because they're the only ones to beat the 1984 San Francisco 49ers because they beat them 17-14 on a last-second field goal in Pittsburgh like week 9 or 10. So his signature loss was dragging a basically ruined leg around the field for 60 minutes when they were telling everybody Gary Kubiak was going to start, and he throws a couple touchdown passes and comes up just short in the divisional
But is
playoff.
that loss against the Rams on Dak?
Really? That's all you can take out of that?
Who was that on?
Wait a second.
Who was that on?
Wait a second. Well, how about this? You know, was the game last week on Kirk Cousins, or was it on the offensive line? or the lack of the ability for the defense to stop a run. You can't have it both ways. You can't call a win a signature win just because you played a good team on a Monday night. Maybe you didn't have anything to do with it. No, I mean, seriously. When you look at this, tell me how you get a signature. To me, a signature win is winning a playoff game on the road. Winning a championship game against another great team.
So regular season wins are meaningless? We should
Yes.
just fast forward the regular season?
Winning,
the preseason?
Yes. I don't care. If regular season wins.
You got to get to the playoffs.
Yeah. What's your point? You got to get to the playoffs. I understood that. From there, what? It doesn't make it a signature
I'm sure
game.
it's a game or two on the road to a division title, which Dak has 2 in the past 3 years.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't have anything in the last 2 years. He just lost. He failed. That's all he's had is failure. That's all he's had. That's all 90% of NFL quarterbacks have is failure.
That's fair, as long as you're going to include 90% of the NFL.
I am. I mean, I just regular season wins are great.
If you want to take, you got to include everybody.
Hey, all I know is this. Outside of Dan Marino and Peyton Manning, nobody's judged on what they did in the regular season. Everybody's judged on what they do when it matters. And when it matters, and I know it matters to get you to the playoffs, but I guarantee you this. 99% of people in this country think Andy Dalton has no signature wins because he didn't win in the playoffs. Do you think Andy Dalton had a signature win, Anthony?
I think any game that he went to Pittsburgh or beat Pittsburgh back in that time.
Yeah, but see, this is the thing. A signature win, you would know what that game was.
Then, so you want me to know signature wins for every quarterback that's played at the NFL? Ever?
Give me one. I'll give you one.
I'm not arguing. I bet you can, and I know you can.
All right. So there. I'm expecting you to. Step your game up, damn it. All right. I forgot
Listen, I'm
that
the 25th most accurate fantasy football expert in the industry right now, so my game's stepped.
You know what? This is the thing. I don't play fantasy games. I coach real football games with real people. Ooh. I've used that before, though, so that wasn't original. I don't have a reason. You know, this is the thing. If it's a fantasy and there's no naked women in it, I don't want to be involved. Sam, do you agree?
No, I think that's the best. That's the best way I've heard it been put ever, I think.
Thank you, Sam. All right. See, that North Carolina or Clemson education don't get you that. You're Clemson, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they shouldn't be in the top 4 anywhere near the playoffs this year, by the way, since they don't play anybody.
Okay.
You think they do?
I mean, Alabama's been there in the past years, and they've never played anybody until, like, the final week of the year.
But they did play somebody before all was said and done, and the problem with Clemson is they're not going to play anybody even then.
Yeah, because it's the ACC. What do you want us to do? It's a terrible conference.
But the ACC 2 years ago was the best conference in football.
And not anymore.
What I would want you to do, Sam, is maybe go down to Dabo Swinney's office, knock on the door, and say, "Hey, Coach, could you play somebody other than Furman in the freaking office when you're not in conference play?"
Oh, that's very politely, Mike, and maybe he'll say yes.
You know, you don't have to play Furman and Wofford and Little Sisters of the Poor. All right, 23, Ryan Fitzpatrick, 24, Baker Mayfield, 25, Sam Darnold. This is my question. How could anybody be ranked, Sam, below Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold?
Yeah, well, if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see
I do, but Brian Hoyer played better than either one of those guys has. I thought Brandon Allen made some really good throws. Daniel Jones, well, yeah, Daniel Jones could be below them. Mason Rudolph, yeah, he could be below them. Dwayne Haskins, well, he shouldn't be in the NFL. Mitchell Trubisky should be working with Dwayne Haskins at a Walmart somewhere, and Ryan Finley will probably join them shortly. There. That's my breakdown of your bottom 10.
Yeah, it's pretty much it. I mean, there's no one 23 and below really who qualifies at this point. I mean, it doesn't even matter what order.
Well, I was impressed a little bit by Brandon Allen.
I guess we could see if
So was I.
Yeah. Did you see the one throw he made in the fourth quarter? It was double coverage. He dropped the ball right in there, which showed a lot of balls. And the only worry here is they're never going to let him play quarterback because it's the Broncos and Vic Fangio, and he just wants to play defense.
Yeah. Well, but maybe they'll actually play to win games. Maybe they'll actually play like a team that has nothing left to lose now. But you're right, they probably won't.
I don't think he will. All right, who's the worst starting quarterback right now in the NFL? Anthony?
The worst in the NFL right now. That's Ryan Fitzpatrick's playing good. Brandon Allen. Is it Baker Mayfield?
I think it's Mitchell Trubisky or Dwayne Haskins.
Oh yeah, I forgot about him.
Everybody does.
I don't count him as an NFL. He's a JV quarterback.
Let me ask you this,
Chicago
Anthony.
wishes they could forget about him.
How about this, Anthony? I got a friend, John Raspani, who's on our boxing shows. He's a huge Bears fan. And right before they drafted, or right after they drafted Trubisky, the day after, he decided he wanted to be called Mitchell. And I told him right then, you're never going to win with a quarterback named Mitchell because that's kind of a feminine name. Do you agree, Anthony?
No. What?
You can't be named Mitchell and be a successful NFL football player, especially at quarterback. All right, real quick, Sam, give me a successful professional athlete in any sport.
Scott Mitchell.
No, that was his last name. You can't do anything about the last name, but the first name, he calls himself Mitchell. Give me somebody named Mitchell that was a great athlete.
How about Mitch Williams, a pitcher from the Steelers?
Okay, exactly.
From the Phillies.
He called himself Mitch. He didn't call himself Mitchell.
I don't think Mitch Williams.
Yeah, he didn't call himself Mitchell. That's the problem. The whole thing fell apart here to me, Sam, when he decided that he wanted to be called Mitchell. Yeah. He could have been Mitch to Bitch Trubisky.
I think that's probably why I changed his name, Mike. But
why? It's better to be a Mitchell.
I'm looking through every player in the NFL history named Mitchell, and I don't see one standout player.
See?
Not one.
See, I'm telling you this. You can tell by a quarterback's first name, or by his name, whether he's going to be great or not. I mean, come on. Bart Starr, Johnny Unitas, Tom Brady, John Elway, Achilles Smith, Ryan Leaf, David Klingler. Come on. This is pretty simple. If you're going to draft a quarterback in the first round, it's not important what his film looks like. It's what his name is, Anthony. Troy Aikman.
Yeah, like a Dak or a Troy.
Yeah, because there's been so many successful Daks. You know, it's like I'm picking in PE class, and we're down to the last two kids, and I'm like, all right, screw it. I'll take Dak.
Well, his actual name is Rain Dakota or Dakota Rain Prescott. So.
Oh, that's kind of Indian name. I kind of like that, but it's not as good as Intangidak. No answer, Anthony?
Put Intangidak on the T-shirt, and we're going to make a lot of money.
Let's do it. I've got the place that can do it, too, if you want.
Let's do it.
I just don't think, number one, either one of us could spell Intangidak. That could be an issue. But, all right. So, if anybody can tweet to us a successful NFL football player with the first name of Mitchell, Sam Teets will give you a $50 gift card to Sam's Club.
Hey, I'm a college student here. Let's not be doing that.
You already looked it up, so it's safe. All right. Any other news we want to talk about, Anthony?
No, I think we pretty much covered everything.
Cam Newton was placed on IR. Will miss the rest of the season. Did we bring that up?
Kind of expected that.
Le'Veon Bell misses practice. We kind of expected that. I didn't even know he was on the team, to tell you the truth. Lamar Jackson says the Ravens are going to see Brady and Pats again. Dolphins OC confident the offense can lean on ballage because Mark Walton got suspended. All right. How about this? Real quick. Would I be crazy to say, and I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I don't think they have a chance. But if the Pittsburgh Steelers make the playoffs, I don't care what any other team does. Mike Tomlin should be the coach of the year.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know if I go.
He won't get it, but I get the take.
He should get it because he'll have done the best job, Sam. Argue with me.
No, I'm okay with that. The team, like I watch this team every week. They're not a very good team, and that move from Minkah Fitzpatrick is really paying off. Though, like that was one of the best moves the franchise has made in recent years.
Well, I think the best move is a factor in the AFC North, but I don't think they're going to catch the Ravens. But if you look, they had their triplets. They lost all three of them. Then they've lost everybody. And they're still sitting at 4-4 with a shot to make the playoffs. I don't know if that'll tell you how good a coach Mike Tomlin is or how bad at coaching there is on all the other NFL teams. Sam, you want to tell everybody where they can find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Sam_Teets33. Feel free to look me up, check out my articles, and feel free to direct message me anything.
All right. Except for dick pics, right? You don't want those?
Yeah, none of those, please. None of those. I changed my mind. Don't DM me.
Anthony, put your camera phone away and tell everybody where they can find you. Did we lose Anthony again?
At the very end.
You can follow the Guru. No, you can follow the NFL Guru. You can follow the show at the FF Face Off, and you can find.
We're losing him again. You can follow Anthony.
The top social media
there
platforms.
You go. Anthony is at the Real NFL Guru, correct?
Yes.
Okay, because your phone cut up when you were doing your little spiel thing. You can also follow Anthony at the FF Face Off. All right, we're going to wrap it up, guys. Excuse me. Remember, you can hear all of our shows on iHeartRadio, iTunes, TuneIn, Spreaker, Stitcher, Podcast Addict, whatever the hell that is, but we're on it now. And anywhere else you can find podcasts, you'll find The Grueling Truth. So for Sam Teets, Anthony Savino, I'm Mike Goodpas. You've been listening to The Grueling Truth, where the legends speak.